walking down the street. It gets the funniest looks from everyone it beats. Hey, hey, it's the
It's
monkey, and it's
just the
not
one
monkeying
monkey,
around.
not monkeys, just
It's
one
too
monkey.
busy killing and putting everybody down.
Okay, how
Not
long did it
trying to
take
be
you to?
friendly.
Oh, Jesus
Come,
God.
don't come and watch and see it play. Cause it's the next generation, and all it wants to do is slay. Wait, we're on? Is this no, is this on?
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
Just now.
No,
Literally
right.
literally minutes ago.
Well, good.
You could ask a mutual friend.
So yeah, guys,
Literally.
hi, welcome.
Hi, welcome to
KDM.
KDM. You're supposed to count me down. Or am I supposed
Yeah.
to start after the burp? How's this work?
No,
Hey,
you're on now.
everybody, we are monkeying around. And if you haven't figured out, we are KDM. I am Dimitri, along with
I am
my
Kit.
colleague, friend. Well, she may not be a friend anymore, but my colleague, Kit
Yes.
Bowen, and we
Hi.
talk these. And if you haven't already figured out, we're going to be talking about the
A
monkey. And
monkey. The one monkey.
Kit, the one monkey, the monkey. And Kit, along with three other people, probably caught the reference to what I was referring to. But yes, we were talking about the Stephen King adaptation of The Monkey, written uh, and directed by Osgood Perkins,
Yes.
who's been having a nice career as of late. The son of Anthony Perkins. I always find that's very fascinating.
Yes.
And he's adapting. He's taking on like this is like a huge thing because not all you know this better than I do. Not all Stephen King adaptations work. They are
Yes.
not the easiest things to do.
No.
And we are here to talk about whether Osgood Perkins succeeds or whether he just monkeys it up. And I always love to start things off by deferring to Kit Bowen.
Well,
Kit, what? And we saw this together too, by
yeah.
the way.
It is based on a Stephen King short story, Skeleton Crew. That's the collection that it's in.
It
And
is Skeleton Crew. Okay.
they do change it up a little bit from the story, which is fine. That's what you do. In the story, he has symbols. So it's boom, boom,
Symbols,
boom,
yes.
boom, boom, boom. And in
Am
the
I
film,
correct? Wasn't the
what's it
monkey
called?
with the symbols the cover of the book?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. I love this. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was, definitely tongue in cheek. Um, I now realize who Osgood Perkins is because he's actually an actor as well. He's done a lot of
Yes.
different stuff. But he has a really nice touch with kind of combining dark humor with gore and the whole idea of this demon monkey that whoever possesses it just watch out. I think the opening scene of the film is probably the best because
Yes.
Scott.
Oh, and we should say this is going to be a spoiler
Yeah,
warning right here. Spoiler filled review
yeah.
because these post after the movie comes out. So the expectation is you've seen the movie, want you to be part of the discussion. So go ahead. Yes. The
um
beginning of the movie.
Beginning of the movie, I'm not sure who that really was. Was that the father of the kids?
I'm guessing it was the father because they make reference to dad who was a pilot and one day he just flew off and never came back.
Okay, so anyway, the he brings it into a pawn shop to get rid of it, and he says, "Oh, you don't want this monkey to start working." It's just a lot of it is a lot of funny stuff, and then
Yes.
you cut to these twin boys. They're like 13, 14, 12, 13 years old, and one of them is very shy and sort of more bookish, and the other one's kind of more outgoing but kind of mean to his brother. And they find this monkey in a box among their father's belongings, and then all hell breaks loose when they were kids. Tatiana Maslany, who I love, 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 plays their mother, who's very sort of, no nonsense practical type. Um, but they certainly have their share of mayhem and murder with the monkey when they're kids. Then you jump to them as adults. Theo James plays the bookish brother now. Well, actually, Theo James plays both parent parts. But you're centered on the bookish character who what's his name? What's that kid's name? Hal.
How?
Um, who has a kid now himself, but he knows that this monkey basically has a monkey on his back the whole time.
That's a good one. I'm
He has a whole
actually jealous.
he has a
That's a good one. Monkey on his
literal
back.
monkey on his back the whole time. And he doesn't want anyone in his family or anyone that he knows and loves to get hurt. So, but the twin brother has kind of gone off the deep end, and he is now searching for the monkey so that he can somehow, because he blames his brother for the demise of his mother and all this stuff. So, he wants the monkey to exact revenge. And I had a whole lot of fun. I think I don't know. I'm not sure which favorite mayhem's murder scene I like the most, but I think it's the one towards the end where the monkey just starts going crazy on the drum.
On the drums.
He's just going, and then all of a
He's
sudden,
doing a drum roll.
like planes are dropping from the sky in the town nearby. People are just dying and being blown apart, and it's like, yeah, one hit of the drum means one person dies. So like when he goes crazy on the drum, you're like, holy crap, what's going to happen? All of a sudden, you hear all these screaming and crashing and blowing up. That was kind of funny, but yeah, I mean, Stephen King is there's so he has endless material for people to work with. He is a little
Yeah.
harder to adapt, just depending on the story. This one was pretty straightforward, so I think it wasn't as difficult to translate this into a fun film. But he is, yeah. I mean, we can get a little discussion about Stephen King in a minute, but yeah, I had a lot of fun with this, and I think Osgood Perkins, who also did Longlegs, which I did see finally. I'm like, what in the double of hell is in the holy hell, fresh hell, whatever kind of hell is this movie? Oh, wow, that was weird. Not funny. This one was
Not funny.
this one at least had some humor to it. So, and some great
No,
deaths.
and I want to talk about the long legs in this comparison too. And I agree, very much. We are in agreement here. I had a wicked blast watching this movie. Honestly, I just think this monkey shines with the gloss of blood
Yes.
all over.
Yes.
It is not for the squeamish. This is not an introduction horror movie, to say the least. And it's devilishly wicked, and all the same while it's like a family film. It is about family dynamic and
Yes, it
about
is.
these two twin brothers. And one of the things that I remember we briefly discussed once the movie was over, the credits were rolling, is it kind of reminded us of like a Final Destination movie,
Yes.
because death was definitely in the air with this monkey. And there was the sibling rivalry of the twins,
Right.
and you learn that while it will not uh, kill the possessor
Right.
of the monkey, when death happens, it's random. So you
Yes.
can't, and as one brother learns, you can't exact revenge.
You
Well,
can't.
both brothers learn it actually. One learns it
Right.
while they're young, the other one sees it older. um, and when you talk about what the funniest are the best, that's it. Yes, the operatic um bursting of blood at the
Yeah.
end was great, especially when you think it's over and there's the school bus of cheerleaders. It just That was great. And if you were to have asked Oz Perkins, I read this earlier this week in one of the trades. He said the most fun was the death scene at the pool.
Oh
And it
yeah,
took
that was a good
it,
one.
at the motel pool, and it took me a minute. I was like, "What happened there?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that was a beauty."
Yeah,
And, um,
yeah,
you know, I as a horror fan, I had a blast with this movie. I think that Theo James was excellent as
yeah.
both. He played Hal and Bill.
Mhm.
And Tatiana Maslany,
Maslany,
Lois
Maslany.
Maslany, the mom. Geez, it took me a couple of seconds to realize it was her. Like, because I
Yeah,
hadn't seen her play this kind of a role before. She was really, really good. And also the kids that played the young, like
yes,
this Christian Connery, I believe his name is. No,
yeah,
Convery. He played both the young Bill and the young Hal.
yeah,
So kudos to Osgood Perkins for allowing single actors to play the brothers. And even though like the younger ones, like you could tell them apart,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, so he did a really good job. Um, it's short, it has a good pace to it.
yep.
For me, it never bored. Um,
Nope.
it was excellent. It's very good horror. But I have to say, I remember when I did my review for for Companion, I did a little like I did an epilogue, and it was a plea to Hollywood and to Academy members. I believe that they really need to start taking the horror genre a lot more seriously.
Hmm.
Because it is more than just blood and guts, and you can find some good cinematography, some good makeup and art, and good direction, and you can find some really good performances in there that are
Yeah,
equally as good as like what I'm seeing that's going to be touted here. And they really should, just because I don't know, maybe some members find it off-putting or they don't find it as funny. They don't have the same sense of humor as we do. Um, but yeah, okay, but it shouldn't just be overlooked because it's horror. And
hmm,
one step more, and I think you'll agree with this, and I want to make this comparison to Longlegs. Longlegs is a disturbing horror movie.
yeah,
It's an investigative procedural, but it's disturbing. Okay. This one is a complete 180. And Osgood Perkins is a great example of a person who can show you the dynamics of what horror can be. Horror
yeah,
doesn't just have to be Longlegs.
right.
It could have this dark, macabre comedic side, and that's not always easy to do. There are many who try to blend horror and comedy, and it doesn't work at
Yes,
all,
yes.
right?
But it can work, and when it does, it's great. I always like that. Like Happy Death Day was something that surprised me. I remember that was kind of
Yes.
very funny
Love
and
Happy
also
Death
scary.
Day.
Yeah,
Freaky kind of
freaky.
works,
Yep,
right? Um, and you can go all the way back to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. You could look at Ghostbusters. American
yep,
Werewolf in London has that
yep.
dark macabre feel, and even some of the aforementioned Final Destination movies. You don't want to laugh at demise, but at times the way that it's presented, it could be ironic
Yeah,
and you can find the humor in it. And I get it. If you're not a horror fan, you're not gonna like get into it. But I think there's a lot to dive into with the monkey. And Osgood Perkins shows horror doesn't just have to be long legs. Horror can mean this. And there
yeah,
aren't that many genres of film that can blend easily,
yeah.
So, you can add humor to an action movie. You can add humor to a drama, but terms of endearment, while there might be a joke in there too, it's a drama.
Yeah,
Like,
of course. Well, I mean, I
So,
think Sam Raimi also kind of hit on the horror thing with
hundred
Army of the Dead, and
and
or is that what it's
Evil
called?
Dead 2,
Evil
Army of Darkness, hundred
Army of
percent,
Darkness. That's the one. Yeah, okay.
100%,
Yeah,
100%.
it's that
But
kind
some
of
people
tongue
don't
in
get it.
cheek. Yeah. Well, I
Absolutely.
think there's definitely a category for this kind of horror where it's, it's gross and you're like, oh God, but then at the same time, you're reacting the same way the actors are. You're like, oh, like,
Yeah.
somebody's head blowing up right in front of you, and you find their finger in your mouth. You're like, oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah. Oh, this
Ugh.
was definitely a movie that was wicked fun to watch
Mhm.
with you. And it's always fun when like something like that might happen and you're like, oh my God.
That's so gross.
There was one element missing that night, but um would have equally enjoyed,
Yeah.
if not more so, but
Yeah,
kindred
definitely see
spirit.
this.
Yeah.
Definitely see this with someone who has kindred spirits with you. It's more fun to watch this movie
It,
in groups than try to see it by yourself. So
yeah.
you'll have more fun.
Yes. And like I said, I think that Osgood Perkins gets it. And it's
Yeah,
really nice. For me, it's really good to see this after Long Legs.
right.
Because it's like, okay, he has a mastery of this genre and he gets it.
Yeah,
So he can creep under your skin or make you gross out, but in this movie, in The Monkey, he'll make you laugh a little bit, or you'll just
yeah,
laugh out of like, oh my God.
yep, yep, yep.
So
And so, yeah, Stephen King, man, I'm telling you, he's just a treasure trove of for people out there. And he oftentimes I don't think he really ever gives anybody too much of a hassle in adopting his stuff. Sometimes he's involved, a lot of
so
times
long
he's
as the check
not.
clears, he's usually pretty good. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Did you reread the story?
I did. I
Okay.
did.
Would you
So,
be
like I was saying, it's a little
Could
slightly
you
different.
share what's different? Because people always, I think this is a great topic of conversation, movie adaptation differences.
Yeah.
And people always love to know if they haven't read the book or what was different in this short
Well,
story
the
that you
monkey was different, and
right.
then I mean, actually, to be honest with you, I started to reread it, and I read up to a certain point, but um, the one thing though is that it kind of more concentrates them as kids.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so that's kind of where that comes from. But yeah, I mean, it's he just has a way. He always has a way. It doesn't matter if it's 600 pages or if it's a 4-page short story. It's
Right.
he finds that heart immediately in everything that he writes.
Yes.
And a lot of people who have adapted his stuff, or the ones who do it well, understand that, and that's what they
Yes.
concentrate on. And like we said, in this one, it's about two brothers, so it's about family. A lot of times, it's about family.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it's about friends. A lot of times, it's about you know a community or whatever that is. And
Right.
he just has an innate way. And then honestly, and I watched this great documentary. I think we talked about this. I'm not sure if I did it on a podcast or not, but there's a great documentary on Prime called King on Screen,
Uh-huh.
and
We'll have to.
it talks to many filmmakers who have made his books into films, like Frank Darabont, Mike Flanagan,
I was gonna, yeah.
um, and what's his name, Mick Garris, who did a lot of his stuff back in the day. Anyway, talks to all these filmmakers, and they they're I'm sitting there listening, watching this, going, yes, yes, exactly, that's exactly what King does. And one of the things they said is that you immediately connect with some kind of one of the characters. However many characters are in his stories, you connect with all of them, one of them immediately. I mean, literally within 2 pages of a book, you're already going, okay, I'm going to root for this
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
Like I remember Cujo, reading Cujo.
Uh-huh.
which honestly wasn't the best of the films of his adaptations, but still it was good. I mean, he got the point across. But the thing about the book was that you got into poor Cujo's head. So
Yes.
you were in
Yeah.
the dog's head, and
Yeah.
he felt bad. He didn't feel good, and everyone was
Yeah.
making so much noise. And
Yeah.
he's like, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I love about King. And you can't, that's why I thought Misery was going to be a really tough go of it, because literally three-fourths of that book is in Paul's head, as he's lying there being
Right.
tortured by her.
Right.
And in the book, she cuts his off.
His
She doesn't.
what?
She cuts
She
things off. She
oh
cuts. She
slice.
amputates. She
Yeah.
amputates. She doesn't
Okay.
hobble him like she does in the movie. And
Yeah.
apparently, that was a big discussion about when they were making the movie. Rob Reiner, they all thought that that might be a little too much of a, you know,
The
the
hobbling's a tough scene too.
hobbling was just as good.
That was like,
Hobbling was
oh
just as good.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that I was pleasantly surprised by, because really what Reiner did was concentrate on Annie Wilkes, concentrate
Right.
on that, and then had, the superb Kathy Bates playing her, and you just zero in on that rather than focusing on the writer, because I mean
Yeah.
James Gunn was great, but I'm just saying it was a better deal to focus on her, and certainly
Right.
it worked because she got an award for it. So you're talking about horror. Every once in a while, it'll sneak in
But
there.
it's too far and in between. And again, I think what you're right. I mean, she won, the movie didn't. And Silence of the Lambs wins, but you would
You know
call
what?
but
Here, wait, before you say anything.
yeah.
There was a controversy with Silence of the Lambs. I don't know if you know this or not.
Yes. Whether it's a
Apparently,
thriller.
no, no, no. Apparently, the Academy members at the time were so appalled that particular film got picked, like the older, that that's kind of soured them towards horror films moving forward. It's like they couldn't believe something like a movie like that actually won Best Picture. So it's
Yeah.
weird that they I mean, I think they're aging out. Obviously they're aging out. I mean, it's definitely has to be a younger Academy at this point, but they
Yeah.
just I guess they just feel like that's not top tiered entertainment, even though
And
that was an amazing movie.
I get it, but again, but they can kind of change the dynamic and not call it a horror movie. They can call it a thriller, an adult thriller. Or, you take a movie like Seven, right? Seven's a horror movie. It has a lot of horror elements in it, but you could call it an investigative crime drama
Thriller.
thriller, right?
Yeah.
And that makes it more palatable for somebody. And I just say, you call it horror. I wanted to go back to your Stephen King um, description because you're 100% right. I do want to watch that documentary. Thank you. Share the title of it again. What's it called on
King on Screen.
King on Screen, Amazon Prime? You
I
said?
believe so. Yeah.
Great. So you're right. There is you can start reading a Stephen King book and all of us, and you pretty much know who you're going to follow and who you're going to have the heart for. And so many people, like the ones that get it can succeed in doing it, but the ones that don't. So I think a perfect recent example of success and failure within the same book, I'm going to call it, and movie, is It Part One, It Chapter Two. It Chapter
Yep.
One, It Chapter Two. It
Mm-hmm.
Chapter One gave me faith after I watched it because you instantly bonded with these kids in a stand by me kind of way,
Yep.
right? You caught the horror. You knew who you were going to root for. It didn't matter if you read the books or not. You caught it. You got where the heart is. And yet, It Chapter 2 sucked because
Yeah,
they
I sure
lost
did.
it. They
Yep.
lost it. And um, it's such like, and you go, how did they feel so bad? And then you say, how did the TV movie get it so right? Well, because I think that was McGarris
Yes, it was.
who directed. So you're so right. And if you don't have that, and in this movie, it's Theo James, Hal and
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
And even to a point, Louise, their mom
Yes.
is the heart of the movie. And if you
And also
can't,
the father-son thing with his later
sure,
with Petey. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
The son
and
of
it
Hal.
it just it works, and it works really well. And just going back to, you mentioned the beginning of the movie. As as soon as the opening happens, like it sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
Hmm.
Adam Scott was great. And
Yes.
it just, right there, you've bought the ticket, you're in for the ride. You know whatever the tone of that opening scene is, carries
Yeah.
through, which
Yeah.
is how a movie like should be. Um, and again, yeah, you're rooting for a character, and as in all Stephen King novels, nobody's safe. There's no guarantee. Nobody's safe. Even the person you
No.
might have the heart for, you
Yeah.
know, could die in a Stephen King book. And you have to, if you've read enough of them, like you can open it
Yes.
and go, oh, please don't die.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
so yes,
he's ventured now more into, I mean, he also likes the whole fantasy world too, and I love those as well, where he goes to another world, another universe, another whatever with the Dark Towers. And I just finished one called Fairy Tale, which was really cool too. It was good.
was
But
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
still everybody is not safe, not
Everybody,
safe.
yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Dark Tower because you also earlier mentioned Michael Flanagan. He's another one that gets it. Okay,
Oh
I
yeah.
thought Doctor Sleep was excellent. His other adaptations, he's doing the Dark Tower. I
And
believe it's
he's doing Carrie, I think.
Carrie, but I thought he was
Carrie.
doing Dark Tower as well.
I'm not sure about
I
that,
thought, like, I thought he
but
was
I know
working
he's
on that
working
as
on a
well.
Carrie miniseries.
Yeah, it's that well, had a discussion with him, but I'm pretty sure he was doing Dark Tower. And if anyone's going to do it right, because that movie was not right. Again, let's go back to that movie. How does it fail? It does bad character.
Yeah.
You can't. You're not following anybody. It's too much. They bit off more than they can chew with that movie.
Yeah.
Um, but the
The other one
monkey,
I think is a brilliant, who also just absolutely 100% gets him is Frank Darabont.
yes,
Now,
uh-huh,
Frank on the one hand, he took some of his less horror filled, more, you know, drama,
intimate. Yep,
suspense, yeah, with Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption. But those first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead that Darabont did, I mean, literally just straight out of King's head. I thought it's like King could have
100%,
absolutely have done this.
100%.
Even though who is the guy who created The Walking Dead? Kirk and what's his
Kirkman,
name?
yeah, Kirkman. Didn't they do the comic books?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But you're right. I mean, prior to whatever controversy happened, and Darabont said you're not paying me enough, and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
I know. It
He
was a
ended up
shame.
leaving. Yeah, it was. But you're absolutely correct. The ones that Darabont was connected to, they're just
Yeah.
a little bit different. I'm not
Yep.
saying the series as a whole. I'm not bagging
But he
on
did
this
do The
series, but
Mist. The Mist
yes.
is a combination of horror. And then Rob Reiner. I mean, really, there's just a handful of people who have gotten King. And I think what they did is they chose projects. I think those filmmakers chose projects that they knew they could do, that they
Yes.
felt was something they connected to. It's not like they tried to do all of Sting King stuff.
Right.
So
100%. So,
yeah.
yeah, and this
And
is a King
he
adaptation.
continues to influence everybody. I tell you, I'm sure
Yes.
if you talk to any horror director out there, any of them, they'll all say they've read Stephen King. I mean, there's
100%.
you can't be a horror aficionado and not know Stephen King. You just can't.
Absolutely not. The book The Monkey, I know it's a short story. About how many pages is it? Can you
I
recall? I
no,
mean,
it's like 30 or so.
and he adapts this into, I mean, I think The Monkey is less than 90 minutes, or is
Yeah.
it's between 80 and 95 minutes. It never overstays its
Uh-uh.
welcome. It's
Actually,
in
no, it's an hour and a
I,
half.
so it's 90 minutes. So there you go. An hour and a half. So 90 minutes. Um, It never overstays its welcome. It's paced really well. And if you are into that macabre type dark gallows humor, let's say, um,
Check it
you'll
out.
have a really good time.
I mean, I'd give it, honestly, there wasn't anything wrong with it. So I think I'd give it 5 stars. I mean, I don't have any
yeah, I mean, I give it the high five too.
yeah.
Now I have to bring this up because this is about the monkey. I read something uh about the monkey this morning. And this is where I'm hoping that people pay attention to us and watch this because I want you to write in your comments. This is the schism between audience and movie reviewers. Okay. I put us in the category, though, of movie reviewers who actually love movies.
Yes.
We enjoy the horror genre.
Yes.
But believe it or not, cinema score, for those who may not know, it's an aggregate of, if you've ever been in the movies on a Friday night, there may be some people who are awaiting you as you're leaving the theater. They give you a little thing to fill out about the movie. They take an aggregate of the audience response to a movie, and they do an A, B, C, D type of a rating.
Right.
This movie, this shocked me. The monkey was a C plus.
Hmm.
And I'm like, who is watching this opening night? I mean, where are you? I mean, like, am I crazy? I mean, I'm a horror fan. I love this sort of stuff. I walked out saying, this is an excellent
Yeah.
horror movie. I had a blast. So if any of you who would give this movie a C plus, you're watching our review right now, wondering whether you're going to agree or disagree with us. If you gave it a C plus, you're not exactly agreeing with us. We'd love to know why you would be a person to give this movie a C plus or lower. I'm
Yeah.
curious, are you a horror fan? Is this your cup of tea normally? What do
Right.
you normally see? So, write in the comments. I'd very much love to know. Aren't Doesn't that kind of confound you that a C
Yeah.
plus
Yeah.
on
It does.
opening night?
And here's something else that's interesting.
Yeah,
So Captain America Brave New World, 49% critics, right? Not great. Sort of,
right,
sort of towards the middle there, but definitely not on the most positive side.
right.
80% for audience. 80% for audience.
Yeah, I kind of don't believe that
Yeah,
because a
I
lot of
do.
people I
I
don't.
do.
A lot of people were bagging on. Wait, are you on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily buy into their audience score for Rotten Tomatoes because that gets flooded with homers, so to speak.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's just really weird, though. It really is very fascinating. I will say this though. This year, God, it's only February. But I have to say that the horror genre has been, I believe, if you're a horror fan, it's been exceptional. You've
Yeah.
had The Presence, you've had Companion, now you've got The Monkey. I mean, you've got three movies that have come out within the past month and a half that were just so good, and they offered
Yeah.
something very different within that genre. Yeah, you'll have. I believe that so far, for horror fans, horror lovers,
Yeah.
I believe 2025 has been a smash hit.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think horror films in general have just been getting better and better. I mean, there's just every year now we have at least two or three of them that are just outstanding. And
agreed.
and I feel like that's great because I that's a genre that's not going away.
It's not, and as long
Not like
as
a romantic. I think romantic comedies are going away for the most part. If
no,
they're
that's
being made, they're
sad.
being made on streaming instead, which is
Yeah,
fine. Whatever it is, what it is. But
but
horror is still bringing those audiences into the movies.
in horror, I mean, the thing is, and this is why I'd like the Academy to look at it differently, other than they can be made cheap, marketed it cheaply, marketed smart. Um, from where I got that information, which was on Deadline, about the C plus cinema score, talked a little bit about the marketing. Neon. This is a Neon movie, and
Yep.
it looks to be their second highest opening movie in Neon's history. And they're grassroots, man. They speak to their like they speak
Yep.
to an audience
And
to go
Blumhouse too, same kind of thing. Although
Blumhouse, yep,
Blum,
and A24.
yep.
You gotta be 24 to give it an A. Um,
Yeah. So yeah.
but
So dude, let us know in the comments about this,
yeah,
what you thought
please.
about it. Because again, we want to know if you liked it or
Yeah.
not.
And if we were cinema score people, we A plus.
A plus. Yeah,
Good
for us,
times,
for
good
sure.
times. So that's
All right,
awesome.
friends. Yes. Thank you for
Thanks.
joining us. And
Yeah.
Demetrius, as always, the best.
Thank you. Hey, well, we got to figure out what movie is next that we're gonna get to see together. It
Or
it
maybe we
really.
could do a we maybe we could do an Oscar talk.
Oh, yeah, isn't that's kind of coming up, right? Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yep. Oh,
Yeah.
I have a friend actually. The Spirit Awards are tonight, I
Are they
believe.
tonight or next weekend? They're usually the night. They're
No, they're
usually the
no,
night
no, no,
before
no,
the
no.
Oscars.
No, they're I have a friend in town who's he's nominated twice. His name's Ian Kaiser.
Hmm.
And yeah, he's in town for the Spirit Awards. So maybe they get recorded and then they
Oh no,
show
it
the
is
night.
tonight. Yeah, it's tonight.
Yeah.
Usually, I
So
mean, in past years, it's usually the night before the Oscars, and the Oscars are next Sunday, the second. But the
yeah.
SAGs are Sunday night, this Sunday night. So
So SAG, oh, so we got Spirit Award and SAG tomorrow.
yes,
Ooh, yes. I guess the next thing we do, it'll be our Oscar talk.
yeah, I think so. Next
Um,
week.
listen, I will tell you this, folks. Defer to Kit when it comes to Oscar. I go with my heart and what I believe, like, because it's come to a point. I just think a lot of the Oscar people have lost touch with moviegoers, but Kit is great at. She really is. She's really great at looking at the various awards and providing a good analytics.
But
So
I'm
if you're
not all.
voting,
I'm haven't been
no,
always right though. I mean, it's and
you're
this year's
better than
really
me.
kind of this
This
year's was
year
kind of
is
a bit of
who
a
knows,
mixed bag for
but
some stuff. So
I always go with those people are crazy. It should be this. Where you're like, no, 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 this did this and this. And I would listen to her. Don't bet on me because
well, I'll give you what the pundits are doing, and I'll give you like the odds and whatever,
yes.
and then Deacon he'll come in with, oh, that sucked.
That's stupid.
That's dumb.
That's the way the conversation will go next week, next
Yes,
time.
yes,
So, hey, thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you had a great time at the Monkey. I had a great time watching the Monkey, especially with Kit. It's always, so fun to watch a movie with Kit that you want to do it with us sometime. You'll have a blast. So
yeah.
look for it at your local movie theater. Thank you very much for going to the movies. And Kit, thank you for being a
Thank
friend and a
you.
great colleague and the show. It's awesome. Thank you.
Mwah. See everyone
Mwah.
soon. Bye.